Good day everyone, I'm Teacher Clover, and I'll be your first facilitator for our discussion today. Today we are going to explore a topic that is often overlooked but very important, which is eating disorders. Before we begin, let's first establish the kind of environment we want to have during this discussion, our classroom rules. To make our discussion safe, respectful, and meaningful, we will follow our classroom rules guided by the word healthy. First, H, hear each other out. E, express yourself respectfully. A, ask thoughtful questions. L, learn with an open mind. T, think before you speak. H, help build a safe space. Y, your voice matters. Everyone here has a voice that deserves to be heard. Do you understand? Okay, before we go deeper into eating disorders, let's first have a quick recall of our previous lesson. Can anyone share or recall what we discussed last meeting? Yes, that's right. We talked about nutrition and healthy eating. Now, I will turn you over to the next teacher who will guide you through the next part of our discussion.
Good day everyone! Before we begin our lesson today, let's warm up with our short activity titled Real or Not Bust the Myths. It's a simple yet meaningful game that will help us understand common misconceptions about eating disorders. Here's how the activity works. I will read a series of statements. Your task is to say real if you believe the statement is true, and fake if you think it's false. Are you ready? Okay, let's begin. Here's the first statements. Eating disorders are just about food. What do you think, real or fake? Next, both boys or girls can have eating disorders. Real or fake? Next statements. People with eating disorders are always underweight. Real or fake? Next, bulimia involves binging and purging. Real or fake? Last statements, media pressure can be a cause of eating disorders. Real or fake? Okay, great job everyone. The purpose of this activity is to remind us that understanding mental health and body image issues starts work breaking the myths. It's important to have an open minds and kind hearts when it comes to these topics. Thank you everyone for your participation.
Today, class, we will have a series of activities and we will be guided by these following objectives. At the end of the lesson, 75% of the students will be able to identify what are the eating disorders, including its cause and risk factors and effects on health, demonstrate awareness and empathy toward individuals affected by eating disorders, and create a slogan promoting healthy eating habits.
So now, let's move to the next slide. So, what is eating disorder? So, eating disorders are serious mental health conditions that affect a person's relationship with food, not just about eating, they involves emotion, thoughts, and behaviors. So, meaning, eating disorders are a serious mental health condition nakaapektuhan ang usa ka tao. So, eating this kind of disorder is not about eating too much, or too little, but it's also about the emotion and the self-perception of a person. So these disorders can impact physical health and emotional well-being of a person who are need to have a professional support to overcome about this kind of problem.
Moving on, we have types of eating disorders. So the first one is the anorexia nervosa. So it is an eating disorder where a person avoids eating due to fear of gaining weight. And when we have the fear of gaining weight or due to eating, what comes next? It leads to extreme weight loss. So what are the signs and symptoms of anorexia nervosa? So there is the extreme weight loss, the fear of gaining weight, and someone who usually skips their meals. Okay, for the next one, we have bulimia nervosa. Is characterized by uncontrolled eating then followed by an act of purging like vomiting or taking laxatives. What are the signs and symptoms of bulimia nervosa? So we have here dental issues, feeling out of control while eating, or guilt. And remember that bulimia nervosa, when you try to eat, you have a uncontrollable feeling to eat, then you eat, then after that you will just vomit. Next is the binge eating disorder. So is characterized by uncontrolled eating without purging. I think, does anyone have the binge eating disorder? No? So what are the signs and symptoms of the binge eating disorder? So we have the frequent overeating, even when you're not hungry, or when you are eating in secret, or when you have guilt. Sometimes this could be related to stress. Diba, when we are stressed, we usually eat a lot, even if we're not hungry. So I guess that would be all for my part.
Good day, class. Today, we're going to talk about a very important topic, which is causes, risk factors, and effects of body weight issues on our health. Now, before we begin, let me ask you, have you ever felt pressure to look a certain way because of what you see online or media? Now, yes, and that's something we are going to tackle today. Let's start with the causes and risk factors. There are three main categories. First is the biological factor. Who can guess what biological means? Correct. It relates to our body like genetics and hormones. Sometimes, even if we eat and exercise properly, our body type is already influenced by our parents' genes or natural hormone levels. Second is psychological factor. Now, can someone give me an example of a psychological cause? Great. Things like low self-esteem or trauma can lead to harmful behavior toward our body and food. Lastly, we have the social factor. Now, I want you to think, how can social media affect the way we see our body? Yes, media pressure and body shaming can really make someone feel about themselves, especially when we constantly see perfect bodies online. That's why we are so very careful to what we are going to say to our peers, friends, because it can highly affect and a negative effect to them. So those are the causes. Now let's move on the effects and health. There are two types of effects, mental and physical. Let's talk about mental first. Can anyone name a mental health problem that might happen if someone is obsessed with their weight? Very good. Some common ones are anxiety, depression, and constantly obsessing over weight. Now for the physical effects, these are more visible and dangerous. Can anyone guess what could happen to our body if we don't eat properly or push ourselves too much? Yes, we can experience malnutrition, heart problems, fatigue, and in the worst cases, even organ damage. So class, remember, weight issues are not just about appearance. They affect both the mind and the body. That's why it's so important that we don't judge others and also take care of our own health. Let me end with a question for everyone. How can we support a friend who might be going through body image struggles? That's right. Be kind, listen, and don't shame them. And encourage healthy habits, not the harmful ones. Thank you, class, for your participation. Let's continue to be understanding and respectful toward each other. That would be all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Lai, for that very comprehensive discussion. Now, to conclude our topic for today, eating disorders are serious mental health conditions that affect both the body and mind. Understanding their causes, signs, and effects
helps us respond with empathy and awareness. Promoting healthy eating habits and a positive body image is key to prevention. By creating a supportive environment, we can help others feel valued, respected, and safe. Now let's proceed with our activity.
Now, let us have an activity. Your activity is called Say It Healthy. Now here's your instruction. In a one whole sheet of paper, create a slogan that promotes healthy eating habits. Your slogan should be short, catchy, and easy to remember. And you need to also remember, no copying of your slogan. Be creative. And it must encourage people, especially your classmates or your community, to make a better food choices and live a healthier lifestyle. I will give you 10 minutes to finish your slogan, and your timer starts now. I think that ends our session in this morning. I hope you've picked something in our discussion. May God bless you, and goodbye, class.